Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
It's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is MikeVecchioneInvestigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates. It's a new year, and I like to start off the new year strong here at Mike Vecchione Investigates. And there's no stronger way to start off the new year than with a very special guest. And that is my mother. She's been on before, and she's come back to kick off 2023. Mom, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, it took us a little while to get on here, but I have to say you're very skilled and very savvy, and you didn't let up on it, and you kept persistent, and you endured. You overcame a lot of adversity. There was a lot of fake clicks that you could have clicked on, and you didn't click on it, and then we had a problem with the audio, but you weren't deterred by that at all. It was kind of like having a full-time job and a part-time job and then raising 3 children, do you think?
I think that's probably right. Mm-hmm.
Was getting on this podcast harder than raising 3 children?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
It was harder.
It was because raising 3 children, you just put your head down and did it, right? For 40, 50 years.
Yeah. But that was easier than this is for me. I felt more comfortable raising 3 children than I do with this.
Yes. Because you didn't grow up during a time where there was a lot of technology.
No technology.
There was no technology. Do you like it better that way?
No, yes. That's what I grew up with.
Right.
So I'm more comfortable with it. New things like, all this is like difficult for me.
But you came through because of your perseverance. Is that a good word to use for you?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, and perseverance is what you tried to teach kids for, I want to say 50 years. No,
not that long.
Wasn't 50 years?
40. No, I mean, there were some years off in between. You have to understand that.
Say 40 years, and let's call it 40, because I know you were a math coordinator and numbers are important to you.
Yeah, okay. That's right. Okay.
40 years is accurate. Our fans want
I never counted it up, but we moved.
You're a math coordinator. Do you understand the irony of that? You're a math coordinator, yet you never counted it up.
No, that's why I have you.
Okay, well, shots fired immediately out of the gate where I'm trying to give you a compliment and you're coming after me.
Well, you're going at it the wrong way. It's too difficult to give a compliment that way.
I said
go ahead, say it.
Teaching for 40 years.
Yes.
And you refuse to count how many years it is. Do you understand as a math coordinator, do you understand it's an English term, but the irony of it?
If you truly cared about me, you would have done it for me.
Okay. All right. But didn't you always teach work ethic? You have to do it yourself.
Definitely.
You have to do it yourself. No one's going to hand it to you. Didn't you always preach that?
Right.
Yet you're in this podcast on this screen saying, I want you to do it for me. I want you to do it for me. Where does this new attitude come from? Is it from social media, or is it from the news that you've been watching, or are you just daily trends that you've fed into?
No, I just want to see if you can do it. I want to see if you learned anything growing up.
Oh, so it was a test for me.
That's right.
You're always teaching. You're still teaching. You're still teaching.
I guess I'll never forget. I'll never end that.
Okay.
Especially when I'm speaking to people that need to be taught.
Good talk. This is. You are.
Aren't you so glad you invited me? Aren't you so happy?
And you are burning me at every chance you get. And I think, Shannon, the clip should be mother destroys son once she gets online.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that to you.
You destroyed me. No, Mom. This. You don't understand. It's not bad. It's good because it will get views. If mother destroys son on son's own podcast, people are interested in that and they want to see you destroy me.
It's working.
It is working. you've built my life, because you were one of my main role models. And then to watch you on a podcast destroy me is something that people would really want to see. Would you agree?
Oh, good. Sure.
It's good now? Absolutely. Hey, well, good. How did you enjoy my visit for Christmas? I did come home for Christmas. You had a big, there was big lettering on the whiteboard that sits on the refrigerator that says, "Welcome home, Michael."
Yes.
And you put that up.
Of course. Who else is here?
And when it became Christmas, then "Welcome home, Michael" was erased. Somebody erased it. Somebody erased it from the whiteboard and it just said "Merry Christmas." And I felt left out because of that.
Well, you got yours the day before, the day you came in. And then the next day was Christmas, I think. So then time to I said hello to you, welcome. And then it was time to say Merry Christmas to anybody else that came in.
But shouldn't we be keeping "Welcome, Michael" up on throughout the visit, maybe? So that we don't forget our children. We continue to teach them. They continue to learn. We continue to teach. And, we shouldn't forget our children.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a whiteboard in your house?
Yes, I do.
No, you're kidding.
No, I do have a whiteboard. I've actually a pretty good comedian. And I have jokes and other tasks that I have on my whiteboard as I like to accomplish things, which was taught to me by, of all people, my mother.
And is it a small one or is it a large one?
No, it's big. It's bigger than yours. I'm sorry I didn't want to call you out, but I guess could be another clip, Shannon. Son calls out mom on podcast. I have a bigger whiteboard than you. Sorry, but not sorry.
What kind of things do you write on it?
I have a list of things. I had a list of things before I left last weekend. I have another list of things when I came home. I have 3 different lists all over the place. It's just a lot of lists, basically.
Okay. Why don't you just make a list for each day?
I do, in a non-conventional way. I'm non-conventional, Mom. I know you always wanted me to be conventional because you're from the silent generation, which is befuddling me because you were always kind of loud. So you're
that's not true. That's not true. I'm quiet. I'm a quiet person.
Yeah, but of recent time, you've been, let's say, to put it nicely in polite terms, you've been exerting yourself more, I would say.
I agree.
And that hasn't been so quiet.
No, I agree.
Has it?
Not a bad thing.
No, I mean, not for you.
Is it bad for you?
It can be at times. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
Give me an example.
We put the Christmas decorations up. You had them up when I was there. It was beautiful. And then as soon as Christmas dinner was over, we're done doing the dishes. You parlay that into taking the Christmas decorations down as almost if to say, I don't want you to enjoy this anymore.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Stop right there. Here's my thoughts.
Okay.
Christmas decorations never come down on Christmas Day, ever have.
Yes.
This was the first.
Yeah.
The whole thing was, you said, what can I do? Do you want me to do anything? And that was a mistake because I said, yes, you are going to leave tomorrow
Right.
Let's take down Christmas decorations.
Right. So I walked myself into that situation.
You did.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
You appreciated me walking myself into a terrible situation, and then you capitalized off of it, and now you've gone about your life.
All right, here's the thing.
What?
Would you have rather me say, oh, no, that's okay, sit down and watch football? Or would you rather maybe be honest? And honesty was, do you want me climbing on the ladder to take down the decorations that were around the doorways?
No.
Did you want that? No.
I don't want you climbing on a ladder, but I hate to point this out because I love you dearly and you know this. And I know Dad, our father, who is in heaven now, he said it many times. I'm just going to reiterate it. This is almost him speaking through me. Perhaps if you were a taller person, you wouldn't need to endanger yourself on a ladder.
You talking about me or you?
I'm talking about you. You're very height deprivated, I think is the term that people are using now, as not to offend the height deprivated people around the world listening to this. We have a lot of height deprivated fans watching, and you're one of them.
I am.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that if you were a little bit taller,
yeah,
you wouldn't have to get on a dangerous killer ladder in order to put the Christmas decorations away.
The ladder has two steps. Michael, the ladder has 2 steps. I can go up 2 steps.
No, I don't want you to go up 2 steps. That's a death trap.
That's the reason you got to do it.
That's the reason I got to do it. Yes.
Did you have to get on the ladder?
You know what? I did have to get on the ladder.
Well, what about your height?
Well, where did I get my height from? Can we explore? This is an investigative show. And from what I remember, my father was 5'10", which is actually taller than an average man. And for an Italian, that's a basketball star, 5'10". But I remember another person being part of the equation who was 5'2". And as a result, I'm 5'8".
Okay.
You're a math person. That's the law of averages. We took the average of 5'10", 5'2", and 5. Now it's 5'8".
Okay. All right.
What I'm saying is you contributed to it in a negative way.
My parents were not tall either.
The parents were not tall. And so you're passing the blame on to them, Michael and Josephine.
Yes.
And how do you think they feel about that now? And they're with Jesus, obviously.
Yeah, they would be happy that I named you Michael. Yes. Because you're so special.
Yes, I'm very special. I'm very special. Our fans are low-income whites who are a little dim sometimes, but they know that I am special.
Believe me, they're not dim. Well, maybe they are. They're watching you.
Okay. Oh, that is, wow. That is really, that's some hurtful stuff. And I think you've just insulted me and my fans.
Not your fans.
No.
Just you.
Okay.
I would not insult your fans. They really have very good taste if they're watching you.
They do have very good taste in comedy. You know, they're not much for motivation. They can't get out of bed a lot of times. A lot of them don't own computers and have to listen to this. But they're doing the best they can. And we do the best we can to lift them up. Isn't that great, Mom?
That's wonderful. I think that's a very good thing.
We're teaching a man to fish. We're not just giving them food. We teach a man to fish.
Okay.
Christmas was, besides the whole take the decorations down on the day debacle, Christmas was very good. It was very nice. The Mass, Dominic's, and we had no problem parking. Remember how the parking situation worked itself out?
Yeah, there was no problem.
There was no problem with it. And I think it's because Christian Jesus was watching over us. Even in the
sure. I'm sure. The restaurant wasn't that crowded, though.
Restaurant wasn't that crowded. And at the beginning of the Mass, the children did a small play about the 3 wise men coming to see baby Jesus. And I leaned over to you and I said, maybe it's the show business part of me, but I said, this could have been better if I was directing it
I couldn't believe you said that.
Yeah, I really.
Oh my goodness. We were in the second row and you said that. You were right up front.
Because it was not living up to, I didn't feel like Jesus was there. I didn't feel like the wise men were approaching him. I didn't feel the characters.
This is a 10-minute skit, Michael.
But Mom, I felt like if I would have directed it, it would have been mind-blowing. And all of the people at Mass would have come back for the next week to see maybe the next 10-minute skit.
Maybe.
I would have maybe had an Emmy or an Oscar or some kind of a Catholic version of that.
Did you go to Mass to get that?
Mom, when I see art, I'm an artist. I'm not sure if you're aware of what I'm doing up here. I'm an artist. And when I see art that's done in a kind of a thrown together way, I get upset and I go, I could have done it better. I could have done it better.
You know what, though? You're not looking at who was in this play. These were all children. Children
who are going to become failures if they're not directed appropriately. I don't want to see the Catholic children get sucked down into the hellish torment of bad acting.
It wasn't bad. It was darling. It was so cute.
Terrible acting. And they needed to step up their game. And I don't blame them. I blame the director.
Okay. Next time you can volunteer to do that. You can direct it the next time. They'd probably really love that.
We'll have to negotiate.
Have a professional.
We'll have to negotiate money.
There's no money involved. You do it from the goodness of your heart.
Goodness of my heart is not going to buy me a new wardrobe and new cars, okay? I'm in this for the money, Mom. You know that about me.
Even when you go to Christmas Mass, you're in it for the money. You got to be kidding me.
I'm very materialistic, and you've always known that about me.
Mm-hmm. When is that going to end?
It's not. It's going to can't stop, don't stop.
What have you bought me lately?
Are you really asking that? Because just last night we had an interaction. Put your hand over your mouth. Put your hand over your mouth.
It's a whoops
I
moment.
just bought you something very special.
I know. And I appreciate it.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
We will be spending time together. Probably against your will. Probably you don't want to. But you're going to have to learn to love me. I'm one of those kids that are not going away.
That's good. I'm glad.
No, is it because you became a teacher and it's like you go through the whole year and then you graduate them on and you don't have to deal with them anymore? But surprise, surprise, with your own kids, it doesn't work that way. We keep coming back.
I love that. I think that's great. You know how many kids don't bother with their parents when they get older?
I wonder why. Let's move on, Mom.
Let's.
When I was staying at your home, which yes. I love, by the way. I love that West Wing that you have. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's spacious. And then we meet in the kitchen and you cooked several times and you keep telling me you don't cook, but the meals just got better and better. And anyway.
I like my meal better than the one we had at the restaurant, didn't you?
Unbelievable. The Coverdale
really came out good.
Sauce blew Dominic's away. No disrespect to Dominic's. Dominic's was good food. But your sauce, I mean, you could go in that kitchen and teach those people a thing or two about a thing or two.
It was exceptional. It was better than normal for some reason. Maybe it's because you guys were there.
I think the word you're looking for is exceptional.
Exceptional.
I was losing football games to you. We bet a series of football games, 16 games. I lost 11 of them. You won 11 of them.
I did. I loved it. I felt so lucky. After that, I felt really, really lucky. Go ahead.
When things don't go my way, I often, and the fans need to know this, sometimes I'll get close to you and I'll threaten to steal your jewelry and sell it for fentanyl.
That even sounds terrible.
Where do I get off doing that? Where do I get off doing that?
I don't know, but you need to stop that. Stop it. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but if things don't go my way on this next game, I'm going to steal your jewelry and buy fentanyl Opioids. Opioids is another big hot button issue in the news that gets a lot of attention. I will go to the bad part of town and buy opioids. So how do you react to that? And
How do I react to that? I
when
think
you
that
hear your son saying that,
but it irritates me.
yes.
And you shouldn't even be saying anything like that. That sounds so stupid.
It's so, and opioids is it's a bad choice. It's a bad
why are you
choice.
even saying it?
Well, because I don't like to lose football games. I don't
Well,
want
if
to
you lose, you lose. You know, if you can't pick them, you can't pick them. What am I going to say?
Well, it forces me into an opioid tirade. I have to go find opioids because I don't like losing.
All right, here's the thing.
What?
If that's what you're going to say, then I'm not going to bet with you anymore. You won Monday night.
Yeah, I won.
No, you didn't win Monday night. You won. When did you win?
I lost a lot. Let's just say that way for our fans. Our fans can't get caught up in the details. They can barely manage their own lives. All they need to know is I lost. And when I lose, I threaten to, quote, steal your jewelry and sell it for fentanyl and then go to the bad part of town to buy opioids.
Does it make you feel good to have said it 3 times?
It doesn't make me feel good, but we're entitled to the truth on this podcast. And the truth
You're not telling us.
That's not the truth?
No, be honest with people.
That is honesty. I've threatened to while you are sleeping, steal your jewelry and sell it for fentanyl and opioids. I've threatened. Did I not threaten that?
I guess I don't listen to you when you talk like that.
Well, that's in therapy, I've learned denial. And that seems to be what you've gone into. And
what am I denying?
You're denying what I'm saying to you. You shut me out, which is why I have to go get fentanyl and opioids and sell your jewelry, probably. It's psychological, Mom. I can't be shut out. You have to be nurturing and open to your son. And when you shut your son out, then he goes to the bad part of town and buys opioids.
Okay.
Finish this statement. When life gives you lemons.
What?
Finish this statement. When life gives you lemons.
I'm supposed to finish it now?
Yeah, finish
There
it.
is something that's a common thing, but I don't know the rest of it. So when you get bad things happen, then you change it to good things.
And what is a good thing when someone gives you lemons?
Well, give me an example of what's a bad thing, and then I can reverse it.
You throw lemons at the person who gave them to you. You throw lemons at them.
Make lemonade.
Yes. Good one, Mom.
That's good. Yeah, okay.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But shouldn't you be questioning, why am I getting free lemons? Shouldn't that be the answer?
I didn't know they were free.
Yeah. When life gives you lemons, doesn't make you pay for lemons like they do at the local Publix where you live.
Yeah.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But how about question where the lemons came from?
They come from the store. And before that, they come from the trees.
According to who? According to your fairy tale life? It could be a stranger grabbed these lemons and injected fentanyl into them.
Oh, my goodness gracious, Michael.
Mom, if you were on death row,
yes.
You're first of all, how would you like to be executed? Shooting range, lethal injection, electric chair.
Lethal injection would be good.
Okay. You're getting ready to get executed, and they come to your cell. Mom?
Yes.
Stay focused. It's an investigatory show. We have to get to the bottom of stuff.
All right, go ahead.
What's your last meal?
Oh, good question.
Thank you. I was getting to something, but you have to stick with me through some of this.
What would I want? I don't eat a lot of meat, so I wouldn't care if I had a steak or not.
Yeah.
Most people want steaks. Lobster.
You would have lobster?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Shannon is just took a break from twisting her hair, which from what Cosmo says, a lot of women do. And she took a break from twisting her hair, and because Shannon is a vegan, and when you put lobsters in you cook them, they scream for you to stop.
Well, don't tell me that now.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know. I just thought that you probably thought I'm being executed. I should execute a smaller version of myself and then eat it with butter.
All right. I don't want that, man.
No, I mean, I'm just laying it out. You're free to make your own choices.
I'm not. You're making me feel guilty.
Lobster it is. Lobster it is. I just thought it was.
Well, what about if I would have said I would choose meatballs? Well, if I have beef,
yeah.
What about the cow?
Yeah, what about the cow? Do you think they enjoy being rolled up into a small ball and dipped in sauce?
Well, the dipped in sauce would probably put them over the edge.
But what do you care? You're on death row. That means you probably murdered a lot of people. What do you care about eating meat? You're on death row.
Well, then what do you care about a lobster? And what do you care about a cow?
I just find it to be interesting that you're being executed, so you feel the need to execute another living thing.
Is that the way you look at it?
No, I think that it's a revenge move on your part.
Oh, okay. I'll change it.
You don't have to change it, Mom. I'm just exploring your answers, and I just want you to be honest with the.
You're exploring them by making me feel terrible about my answers.
It's not meant to make you feel terrible. It's just meant to show.
It's meant for me to feel terrible.
No, it's not.
I know you.
You're parallel. You're being executed. You don't think an animal should live. A little lobster Gilda shouldn't be able to live either.
Okay.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
This is not specific to you. This is just one thing is specific to you. You are a cancer survivor. And the microwave is linked to cancer. Do you think cancer targets people that can't cook?
No, because I used to be a good cook.
You are a very good cook still. I'll tell you that. So that's why it doesn't apply to you.
No, but as a general rule, no, that doesn't apply.
But do you think that people who use the microwave, they can't cook, so they get cancer more? Is there a correlation?
No, I don't think so. And I know where you heard that. You heard that a long time ago about stay away from the front of a microwave when it's on. And I don't know why. I just feel like that was like when they were not really popular, when they just started to come out with microwaves.
Right.
And now they're much safer.
You think they're much safer now, but you still won't stand in front of one, will you?
Yeah.
You will now?
Sure. I did that. Always did. I mean, then I got cancer too, though. Okay.
Oh. That's true. But then you use the power of your mind to beat it. And the power of prayer.
Yes. I never for 1 minute thought that it was going to get the best of me.
No, you did good. You did good, Mom.
Thank you.
These microwaves, we have to watch out for them because they're very sneaky. And I think people should cook on a stove. Because a stove never put you in the hospital, did it?
No.
No, it didn't. But the microwave has a bad reputation.
But you could catch something on fire using the stove.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing in the kitchen.
Well, sometimes
you know what you're doing.
Still have gas stoves.
Yeah,
right?
I have a gas stove right here.
Well, just be careful when you use it.
Well, Katie is careful.
You don't cook?
Sometimes, but Katie's like a master. She's a master chef.
No, that's great.
Yeah. What's your reaction to this statement? Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. Your words, May of 1981, after you scolded me when I wasn't sharing an Etch-a-Sketch with my sister.
And what was the other comment that you said about that? Go ahead.
It's May of 1981. You say, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about."
All right.
I was not sharing an Etch-a-Sketch, which was a toy, very popular toy back then, with my sister. I wasn't sharing.
Yeah, what were you crying about? Because you weren't sharing?
You scolded me for not sharing.
Yes,
Sharing was
okay.
a very important part of our upbringing because we were 3 children and 5 in the family. And it just felt like you scolded me there and for not sharing an Etch-a-Sketch, which was a very popular toy at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And so why didn't you share it?
Selfish. I was going through a selfish phase. It just seemed it really needed to be about me at the time. And it didn't feel like anybody, you, her, John at times, were respecting my own individuality. Like, you know, it was a selfish phase I wanted to be in. And you guys just didn't get it.
Did you have, did we have only one Etch-a-Sketch in the house?
There was one Etch-a-Sketch at the house. That's when toys were not like, we had Legos. We did have toys.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem like there was a overabundance, like needless amounts of toys. If one person had a toy, then you wouldn't buy 3 of them.
That's right. No, that's
try
right.
to share them. And but I was not in the sharing mood. And it's like you guys you especially were not respecting my mood.
Yeah, well, you know what? You just weren't respecting mine, apparently. My mood was share.
Yeah. It just, do you understand, like sharing is like normally a good thing, but when it's put down in such a totalitarian way, it's like, now I kind of don't want to share. And isn't communism, that's what communism is. Everybody share, everybody share. And those countries are suffering badly.
We're not talking about a country. We're talking about 3 children. 3.
It's a system of sharing. And you were trying to implement communism on me, I felt like.
You're wrong.
Okay.
I was not.
But
I was trying to make you look like you couldn't have everything you wanted when you wanted it.
Right.
As soon as she was finished with it, you certainly were more than welcome to use it.
But does it matter that I was better on the Etch-a-Sketch? I was just better on it.
Okay. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No.
Everybody's equal all the time, regardless of their talents?
No, I'm sure that you were very talented on the Etch-a-Sketch.
Very, very
talented.
talented.
Sorry you don't have one with you now to show. Do you?
No, I had it probably taken from me.
I didn't take it.
No? For not sharing. I probably had it removed from my possession, which is illegal, by the way.
Well, it depends how old you are. When you're 5 or 6 or 10, no, it's...
I guess there's no rights. I'm still a United States citizen.
Yes, you are.
You were a teacher for 40 some odd years. You taught in public schools. Did you feel a weird competition between Catholic schools? Because you were in a public system and it's like these Catholics. Was there a weird rivalry there between the Catholic schools? Because you're Catholic, but you taught at a public school. And did the Catholic schools like think they were better or come off with a little bit of arrogance towards you?
No. Who cared where I taught? Just so I had a teaching job and I just always taught in a public school.
But are some of these Catholic schools entitled? Like, God is on our side. God is on our side. Jesus loves us. And it's like you're in a godless public school.
Uh-huh.
So is there...
How did you feel about going to public school?
I felt it. No, I felt it.
Why didn't you say something? We would have sent you to parochial school.
No, I didn't want to go to it. I just didn't like those kids luring the fact that they were chosen and that God loves us and God doesn't love you.
Whoever said that?
It's all built in. It's all implied. Some things don't need to be said, Mom. It's just in the energy of the day.
Okay.
Did you ever feel that?
No. Did you?
Yes, I did. I felt it. They always thought they were better than us, these Catholic schools.
I don't know why you say that.
Well, also, I had to give up my Mondays because I went to CCD, catechism class.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I had to go to an outside class, and they got religion in school, so they didn't have to go to the class.
No, right. They had it built into their schedule.
Right.
But that's okay. It worked out.
Okay.
That's the way I did. That's what I did too when I was growing up. I had to go to catechism on a different day. I think it was on Saturday morning.
God, it just ruins the weekend, doesn't it?
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
Look what a good person I turned out to be.
You turned into a great person. But do you think that there's different levels of heaven for people who went to Catholic school and then people who went to public school and then went to catechism? It's like you're on a higher level of frequency you're closer to God if you went to that Catholic education, and you're less close to God. You're still on the outskirts somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I don't think I'm as close to Jesus as I could have been. It's a lost opportunity, and I think he probably likes it more if you went to a Catholic school, and he likes you less if you went to a
What
public
happens?
school.
What
That's just
happens?
what I feel.
All right. What happens to all the people that aren't Catholic anyhow? Period.
Oh, those people are in like a purgatory, it's like a weird purgatory.
Okay, Mike.
And they're waiting. They're just waiting. They're in a waiting room, which can be fun too, I guess. But it's like they have they're out of the ball game. I'm going to go to another topic. As a boy, you taught me, and I'm quoting here, never raise your hand to a woman. Then I go to school, all my teachers are female, and they tell me, raise your hand. Is it fair to say that some women teachers are asking for it? They're asking for it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. No, I think that maybe you might have misunderstood.
I misunderstood it. Clear
Yeah.
it up for me, teach.
Do not raise your hand to a woman ever.
Right.
That does not mean when you go to school and she asks a question and you can't put your hand up.
But you're raising your hand to a woman then. You're raising your hand to a woman, and you told me never do that.
Okay, maybe I didn't add on the part in a negative way.
Oh, in a negative light.
Yes. Maybe that's what I neglected to say. Did you do either?
No, I haven't. But it's like when some of the teachers are asking me a lot of questions, it get me mad. And I was like, I want to raise my hand. I just want to raise my hand. You know?
You want to raise your hand because you knew the answer?
Oh, I knew an answer all right. But I just wanted to raise my hand, but I never did. I would just call out.
Oh, now that was ridiculous.
Otherwise, you're raising your hand to
Raising your hand to a woman. I know what you're talking about, but you didn't learn about that until you were older. You certainly weren't in elementary school when you learned that. Right?
Oh, I think I learned it pretty early.
Why?
Well, you never know. You're in school with girls.
Yeah.
And there's women teachers. You shouldn't be raising your hand to them.
Well, do you know what that meant?
What did it mean?
It means you don't raise your hand in a negative way against them. Ever.
Against them.
You have to be a real man.
Yeah.
And if you walk away.
Okay. I'd like to walk away from the public education system at this point. Confusing.
It's very simple, Michael.
There's been a lot of movies in media that have slammed your profession, teaching, and I want you to respond to it. Have you ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I don't remember that movie.
Okay, well, it was a movie where a kid, he played hooky, as they used to say in your day. He skipped school with his girlfriend and his friend, and it ended up being a great adventure. What do you say to people who they watch that movie and they go, I'm going to skip school and just have a great time? God, what's with all this pressure about homework and I need to be in third period? It's like this kid, it's a hit movie, skips school and has a great time.
You're asking my opinion
I'm
about it?
asking your opinion about it. This movie is saying that skipping school is great.
Well, that's a movie. It's not real.
There's
Maybe
not.
skipping school is great for some people. I don't know. But it's a movie. It's a film made to make money.
Yeah.
Made to make people. Yes, that's not real. I mean, it could be real. There's probably people that do that all the time, skip school.
And they have a great time.
Well, good for them.
Well, it's just these teachers are like, you got to be at school. You got a perfect attendance.
How are you going to learn anything if you don't go to school?
Maybe sometimes it's not about learning anything. It's about having a great time with your girlfriend and a friend.
Do it on your own time. Do it after school's out. You don't need to do it during school time. You have plenty of time. Do it in the summer.
Hard to hear. What do you say to Pink Floyd? There was a song, The Wall. Are you familiar with the song, The Wall, Pink Floyd?
No, I don't know either one of those.
There's a line in the song that says, "Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone." Does that make you mad?
Does that bring it back? Is that what you said?
Does it make you mad when there's a song that says, "Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone"?
Well, what's the rest of the song?
The rest of the song I can't get into. But I mean, there's a line in there. It's the whole thing is that teachers are bad. They bully our kids. And as a result, these kids build a wall. The whole album was called The Wall. They build a wall.
Yeah. What are they building a wall for?
They build a wall to isolate themselves from these teachers who are bullies.
Well, how do they bully?
They're always, you need to do this. You need to do that. How can you eat your How can you eat your meat if you don't have any vegetables? How can you eat your meat? How can it's like they're pushy and they're always trying to get you to do stuff.
That's their job, Mike.
It's a job.
Yeah. What were you before you, let me ask you this.
Okay. I'm just saying this is a Pink Floyd song.
Yeah. Okay. What does he know about this?
Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
He probably had some bad experiences in public school. I think they were English.
Who was English?
Pink Floyd.
Oh, I don't know about that. But if he had bad experiences in school, well, I'm sorry for him, but that's not my problem.
I'm putting the whole educational system on trial, Mom. Do you understand what I'm doing?
No, I don't.
As a part of that system for over 40 years, I'm asking you to respond to Pink Floyd.
What can I say? It's a song. It's a song.
And it's a song. It's art reflecting life of the oppressive nature of the classroom.
No, it's just simply a song that he sings, and we don't have to do what he sings. Right?
I mean, I guess, but all art is based in reality. So he's saying it and it's tracking. It's tracking with people because a lot of people had the same experiences. Go to the board and solve this problem. How about I don't know the answer and I'm going to be humiliated in front of people? Oh, I need a buddy to go to the bathroom? Really? I need a hall pass? I always have to raise my hand before I say anything?
Well, what happens in school if you don't raise your hand and everybody has the answer? Everybody's talking at the same time.
Everybody gets smarter. It's like what Clubhouse was.
That's what you do. You take turns. You take turns. Like you took turns with your sister on the Etch-a-Sketch.
I didn't.
That's how you learn.
I didn't want to take turns on it. I wanted it for myself.
Well, next time.
Christmas time, we got into the Christmas spirit. Just quick answers here. Would you eat deer ever? Would you eat deer?
No.
How about reindeer? Would you eat reindeer if it was the holidays?
What's the difference between deer and reindeer?
Reindeer are associated with Santa.
Oh, no.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Would you eat a reindeer that had a red nose?
No.
Red nose means that it's done. Mom, what would you say after you pistol whipped someone who criticized your cooking? Someone's over, They eat your food. They take 2 bites. They go, this isn't so hot. You pistol whip them. You have a gun underneath. Let's say you have a gun underneath the counter. You pistol whip them. What do you say afterwards?
That'll teach you not to like my food.
Oh, that's a good one. That's really a good one. That'll teach you, and you're a teacher.
Yes.
Like really, the message really gets across, you know? And it's hands-on education because you just hit them with a gun. Can I do what I think you should say?
Sure.
Okay, they say these covadilles, they're a little soft. And then you pistol whip him and you go, well, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Pistol whip them twice.
Got it. That's cute. That's funny.
That's very funny.
Yes, it is.
Did you get caught in the Bitcoin scandal?
No, I did not. Lucky me.
Right.
Did you?
That guy with the bad haircut, is it because he didn't get a haircut? That's probably why you didn't invest with him.
Probably. Did you invest?
No.
Why?
He had a bad haircut.
Oh, that's why?
Yeah, I'm pretty superficial.
Yeah. How's your haircut?
How does it look?
It looks great. Looks great.
Amazing. Let me help you. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
If I was an LA comic, it would be amazing. But just, I'm in New York, so it's pretty good.
No, your hair is not pretty good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you. It's amazing. It's going to open a lot of doors for me in the industry.
I'm sure it will.
For Mother's Day, I plan on buying you a tie that lights up because women have an equal right to disappointing and crappy gifts as a man does. It's called equality. Mom, I want to go through some... Shannon, what time are we at, by the way?
Hold on, sorry, I had 2 mutes on. 45-ish.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
How about we go to some plugs?
Okay.
And then we'll get to some.
Michael.
Yes.
Michael, stop for a minute.
Yeah.
This is where I don't say goodbye, is it?
No, you don't say goodbye.
Okay, I did that the last time.
So you did it the last time.
I made up my mind. I was not going to make that same mistake again.
Okay.
Okay, go.
You got it. Thank you for watching Mike Vecchione Investigates. You can.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay. One person talks at a time here. One person at a time. You know, just like in class. Thank you for joining us here on Mike Vecchione Investigates. Thank you for joining our YouTube premiere at 9 p.m. every Monday. You guys have been great. Our numbers are slowly creeping up. We're the fastest rising podcast on the Gas Digital Network. And we thank you guys for joining us every week to be talked down to and as we investigate the issues of the day. Look for future dates, MikeVecchione.com, at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. Special to come out February, at some point in February, I hope. And I'll make a gigantic announcement when the special comes out. At Comic Mike V, please follow. Please continue to support the podcast. We work very hard on it every week, and we appreciate and love you guys. And Happy New Year. Mom, anything you want to plug or say, if you don't have anything to plug, which I don't know that you do, anything to the fans, talk directly to them right now.
I just appreciate you liking my son because he's a great guy and he's a very funny comedian, as you well know, and he's on the top of my list.
All right. Thank you, Mom. That was a good plug. It was a good plug for me.
Of course.
All right. Thank you. And Shannon, what do you got?
I'm not putting my camera on because the lighting is bad in here, but you can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is, Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. And wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. That's absolutely free, but the best way to support the show is to go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use promo code MVI. You will get a 1-week free trial, which gives you access to every single episode of this show we've ever done, as well as every episode of every show on all of the Gas Digital Network. If you listen on iTunes or YouTube, make sure to rate, review, tell a friend, leave a comment, subscribe. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. Go to podcastmerch.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. And if you have your own video investigation to submit, send it in to MikeVecchioneInvestigates@gmail.com. That's it.
Great. Let's get back into it, Mom. Right now, we've been covering issues long term. We just don't forget. It's not like the news where we just forget about things. We follow up on news stories that have been running and the news stories that are important to us and our fans. There's been a baby formula shortage for quite some time now, and we don't know what's going on. What's your reaction to the baby formula shortage in this country?
There's no excuse for this.
Yeah.
There's just no excuse for it. What are these poor families doing if they have babies that need the formula? I mean, I don't know what they could possibly be doing.
Well, women breastfeeding could be a thing, but women are busy being astronauts, so they can't get out of that space suit.
I don't even have a comment.
No, because can women be astronauts, Mom?
Of course they can. You know that.
Can. I believe that too.
I would love to have been an astronaut.
Yes. And you had the right stuff to do it. But you had 3 children weighing you down from going to space.
True. But there wasn't a weight.
We weren't anchored. We were anchored. Weighing you down.
There's something at that time when you were growing up. Who did that?
Well, you know, the Challenger that exploded, there was a teacher on that. I remember. So I remember that. I was in 7th grade and we watched it, and then we quickly wheeled the TV out of the room.
Yes.
But there was a teacher on that.
I remember that.
It's possible. But I think that, you know, the baby formula shortage is a big deal because babies are hungry. And I've been on a lot of flights where babies have been flipping out. And I think it's secretly because they're not getting the formula that they need and they're protesting it by crying.
Possibly.
But women are astronauts and they shouldn't have to get out of that spacesuit in order to feed these babies.
Right.
John Hinckley Jr. shot President Reagan in 1980. And then he did it to impress Jodie Foster. Were you impressed by it as a woman of that time? You were 40 years old. Were you impressed by John Hinckley Jr. shooting President Reagan?
Was I impressed?
Were you impressed by it? Because he did it to impress a woman.
Well, she didn't. She wasn't impressed, was she?
Wasn't impressed. She actually became a lesbian. She was the opposite of impressed. So, but I'm saying were you impressed? But if somebody did that for you to get your attention.
Oh, my goodness. I think he was whacked out of his mind.
In such a weird way, would it kind of play to your ego to be like, I drove him crazy because I'm so beautiful?
No, it would not.
Do you think that way a little bit? I know you're a humble Christian person, but it's like a little bit like, it's kind of, I made this guy go crazy because I'm so beautiful. And smart. Women are smart also now.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
No, I would not think that at all. I would not think that was an admirable quality in somebody.
John Hinckley Jr. is writing songs now on YouTube. Me and Shannon listen to them frequently, even not on the air. We listen to them when we're waiting to go on. Sometimes we think he's really talented. And
in what way?
I just think the songs are really good.
Isn't he in prison or anything?
Got released. We went through that in the podcast. He got released he was in a mental institution for 40 years. He got the help that he needed. And now he's back making great music and acoustic guitar and singing. And for this podcast, he's the greatest comeback story of the year, I would say.
That was recently, right? What do you think about that?
I think that he's the comeback story of the year. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we don't shoot the president, but we all make mistakes in our lives, and we all have to rebound from them. And this guy did it. He's rebounding. And if he canceled his concert in Albany because of protesters, but if he was in Albany, I might take the 5-hour trip up to our state's capital in order to watch him kill it with music, not with a gun.
Well, that surprises me.
He's the comeback story. People can come back, Mom. People can come back. They make mistakes and they better themselves, and they make albums.
I hope so. I hope so.
Now I have to dig into you a little bit. I'm sorry if this comes off, but it's an investigatory show, and our fans rely on me to ask the tough questions. Why wouldn't you let me have a gun growing up? Is it because you didn't want me to be cool, or because you hate the U.S. Constitution?
Which
one is it?
It is because I didn't want you to be cool.
But you're okay with the Second Amendment?
Yeah.
But what is it about me that you wanted to make me into a nerd by not having a gun?
You're not a nerd. You never were a nerd.
I never got a BB gun. I never got anything.
You never asked for a BB gun.
I wanted to hold the cold metal in my hand and feel the power of annihilating something in front of me. And you robbed that from me.
You never, ever would have done that. You never asked for anything like that. You would have gotten shut down immediately.
I knew it wasn't a possibility. You said, don't even ask for a gun or a mini bike. You said neither of those things ever. And as a result, I have to walk everywhere.
It's good for you.
To defend myself.
It's good for you to walk. You can defend yourself. When you're a child, you don't need a gun to do it. Right?
I wanted to feel the cold metal against my finger and the power of pulling that trigger, and you took it from me.
I did.
We have high blood pressure in our family. I have it. It's genetic. Why did you cause me to have high blood pressure?
We wanted you to feel like part of the family. Everybody else has it. Why not you?
Hard to hear.
Why do we all have high blood pressure?
I do not know. I'm asking you that question. Why?
No, don't ask me. We're high stress people.
Why did you give me high blood pressure? Why?
I didn't give it to you.
You have it on your side of the family. Both of your brothers had crippling high blood pressure.
I have it too now.
And you have it too now. And so did Dad. He had it too.
You couldn't have gotten away free because we all have it. So it's how you handle it. You take your medicine and try not to get stressed and, do the right thing.
You live in a gated community, and I made the suggestion that on the back gates, there's no guard there, and then they need to put a sniper tower up and to assassinate anyone who tries to come in. And you quickly, and excuse the phrase, shot it down. But I still think there should be a sniper tower in your gated community. Do you think people would think twice about trying to get into your gated community if there was sniper towers?
Absolutely. They certainly would. But I think that there's a better way of doing it. The way that it is now with just the gates there.
Yeah.
And you have to have a certain thing on your car to get through it.
Yes.
That works fine. Why wouldn't that work for you?
I love a gated community personally because I don't want to be around riffraff. And I don't know why you live there, but when I get in there and that gate goes up, I feel special and privileged and better than everybody. And I love it. And I purposely sometimes make people mad on the outside and then drive into the gate. And then I'm like, you can't touch me now. Sorry, not sorry. Do you ever feel that, Mom, with a gate?
No, I leave that feeling up to you. I don't feel that way.
My sister has power of attorney. Is that true or false?
It's false.
Who does have power of attorney?
You want to do that, or do you want to say who doesn't have it?
Do I have it?
I have it set up a certain way, Mike, for power of attorney.
I just want to have the power of an attorney. I always wanted the power of an attorney.
Not the power of an attorney. Okay.
I would like to have the power of an attorney, but since that's not possible, I would like the power of a judge. Can I have power of judge?
Why? Why do you want a power of a judge?
The power of it. I just want, it's the power of it. The phrase power of attorney, it just makes me crazy because it's so much power.
Oh, okay. So you think attorneys are powerful?
Yes. I mean, if it's saying power of attorney, it's like.
Would you think judges are powerful?
Yes. Judge is above attorney. Okay. So let's say Michelle has power of attorney, then I could have power of judge. So I could overrule her and have her sent to a holding station.
Yes, you could do that.
Yes. And John too. John has the power of stenographer. He's typing whatever we say. And I say you're out of order, and both of you go to a holding cell until I reach a further decision. Power of judge.
Would you? How would you be as a judge?
I would be narcissistic, and I would be consumed by power.
Would you really?
Yes, very powerful. And if I would have to have a fresh robe every time I would go in. And if it was a robe that I asked them to clean after every session, and if they didn't bring me the right robe, I would have the person who was responsible for cleaning my robe detained in solitary confinement, locked down for 23 hours a day and given food through a hole in the cell. And there'd be no light in there until they realized that they should clean my robes.
Wow. So that's heavy. That is heavy.
Solitary confinement. I would put them in the hole.
I'm certainly glad you're not a judge.
Well, what would you do if you were a judge?
I would probably take care of people like you.
How so?
What would I do? I would follow the law.
Yeah.
And make sure that the person who did the offense, whatever it might have been, is disciplined in a way that it doesn't happen again. And if that means jail time or whatever it means, because you can't just go around doing, there are laws, right?
Right.
And if you don't abide by the laws, then we have chaos.
Right.
So we don't want that.
No, we don't.
So we do what we have to do.
But wouldn't you make it about you a little bit and be like, make it about you and about what you want too?
No, I would make it what I think is right. Not about me, but what is right. What works.
Well, what works for me is throwing people in prison who don't do what I say. That's what kind of works for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you have people of different races, ethnicities, and religions in your phone?
In my phone?
Yes.
Yes.
So do I, but I have them saved in different sections. I was born cesarean, which some people call a coward's birth. And
who's a coward, you or the mother?
Well, the mother didn't want to have natural childbirth, so she just kind of lays there and lets somebody knife her and take the baby from her. It's weird, but that doesn't sound that brave to me. And I know you've had 3 cesareans.
Right, yeah. And they don't do it that way anymore, from what I understand.
Well, it's really my older brother John's fault, because once you did a cesarean in the 70s, you had to have all of your kids cesarean, right?
Right, that's right.
So he's kicked it off by being lazy and being a squatter. and not leaving when he should have left. And then the rest of us had to follow suit.
Right. And I don't know when that changed actually either, but it did. But not when you were born. It didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Wait for that. Raising kids is different now. When I was visiting at home, I had to do the dishes. Back when I was growing up, that was called a chore, but now it's a form of domestic terror.
Who said that? Who said that?
I just did right now.
You think that's what it is? When you did dishes?
Dishes was a form of domestic terrorism now. Sorry.
Now?
Yes, now.
So, in other words, when I cooked you a meal over here and you got up like you wanted to help and you didn't even offer to do the dishes, you thought that was not a good thing?
It was fake sincerity. I didn't want to do the dishes. I was fake being sincere there, and you just really took advantage of me. And I think it's a form of domestic terrorism. Whereas before, when I was growing up, it's called, oh, just do your chores. Just shut up and do your chores. And it's like, and it felt like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I don't feel like doing the dishes. I don't feel like wrapping the food up. I don't feel like taking the garbage out. And it felt wrong. And sure enough, years later, I'm finding out that it was wrong because it is a form of domestic terrorism.
Is that what they're calling it now?
That's what I'm calling it now. Domestic terrorism.
Wow.
I just wanted to relax and watch football and eat dessert, but I had to dry the dishes and figure out where they went.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. You know what? Maybe the next time you come, I'll be too... maybe I won't be able to cook because I don't want to have to do the dishes. So I won't cook you anything. How do you like that?
I don't like it at all. I don't love it. I got to be honest with you. I don't care for it. Speaking of dishes, we had paper plates a couple of nights for convenience, and we were forced to rinse the paper plates and throw them in the garbage because I was told not to take out the garbage late at night because of a raccoon issue in the dumpster area. And I said, no, I'm going to plow through. I'm not afraid of any raccoons. And you insisted that I do not take the garbage out because of the ongoing raccoon problem. Now, in a gated community, how are these raccoons getting in? And wouldn't a sniper tower take care of them?
I don't know, Mike. I don't really know if there's raccoons that go in the trash or not. I don't know how they can get in there because the tops are real, tight. Yeah. So, but I just don't think
they have small hands.
Oh, okay.
They can.
So that means what?
They can open the top of a dumpster.
But can they lift that? It's kind of heavy. Can they lift that up?
Raccoons are notoriously strong.
Who said that?
I learned it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you make that up or did you learn it?
No, Mom, this is fact-based podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
You did forget. Forgot who you were talking to. Michelle's dogs go to the bathroom in your house pretty routinely, almost like it's their job. My question to you is this. Can dogs go to hell? And if so, do we have a case for these two?
Of course they cannot go to hell.
Dogs do not go to hell?
No. Why? What do they do to hurt anybody? Well, some do, I guess.
They go to the bathroom in the house like it's their job.
Well, they need to be trained to go outside. In my house, it was different. They're not used to being here.
Does a child need two parents, one parent, or a parent and an app? What do you think? Which one's the best option for today?
I think two parents should do it.
Two parents.
Yeah.
Choosing two parents and then one parent and then a parent and an app.
No, just two parents should do it.
We need parents, or can apps? Apps pretty much tell us everything we need to know.
No, you need the human contact. Don't you?
I guess. I don't think so. I see everybody's on their phones.
Yeah, isn't that something? Do you sit on your phone when you're out to eat a meal?
I have to discipline myself not to.
Really?
especially when I'm with you, because I'm like with my mother right now. Be in the moment, be present with her.
That's very nice. And
as she's doing a word search.
I won't do any more while you're here.
Well,
that's not true. Well, that's not true because I will.
You will.
But I won't take away from your time. If you're watching football and I'm watching it too, but I'm also doing a word search at the same time, I can do two things at once.
Is that the key to winning at gambling? Making the bet and then not worrying about the ad, you're just completely ignoring the game and then taking the money at the end?
Yeah. That's it. Who said that? Who said that?
Who said what?
About going to the casino and doing what?
No, there's no casino in this question. That's probably how you win at gambling when you bet the games. You don't watch the game. You're doing your word search and just letting it play out.
Oh, no. You give me background. You give me honest background information about the teams. I have to give you, commend you for that, because you do that. When I don't know anything about this team, you say, well, and then you tell me about it.
Well, I mean, to be fair to the fans, what actually happened was I used to bet my father games, and then we went back and forth, and then he passed away. And then now to keep the tradition alive, I bet the games with you. But when it comes time to settle up on Tuesday, because there's a Monday night game, we always settle up on Tuesday. I always warn you, make sure the money is right, because you remember what happened to the last guy.
What happened?
He passed away.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that was a dark joke.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Keeping up with death, your mother died in 1977. That was the same year Elvis Presley died.
Correct.
Would you describe her as a good mom or ain't nothing but a hound dog?
That's really good. She was a good mom. She was a good mom.
Very good mom.
Good Italian mother.
Josephine.
Yes.
Did a little shine get taken off her because Elvis died?
No, she died first, I believe.
She died first. Elvis was trying to copy her.
Yes, that's probably true.
Never a fan of Elvis, not your mom.
You weren't a fan of his?
No, he was fine.
Yeah, he's good. He was very good.
I was 5 when he died. Did you like him?
Oh, yeah, very much.
Yeah, because that was he was on Ed Sullivan. And
I remember the show, actually.
The camera would not show his hips.
No. Do you believe that? And look where we are now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Better or worse?
Oh, my goodness. Certainly worse now.
But women are astronauts, so you got that one.
That's a good thing. There's good. There's definitely good.
Shannon, what time are we at? Shannon?
Sorry, I am here. I have 2 mutes to hit, so it just takes an extra second. We're at an hour 11.
Okay. We didn't get to any news stories, Mom. I'm sorry. You're too interesting of a guest for us to get the news stories. Maybe next time. I had a bunch of news stories picked out. I wanted you to comment on them, but we just got wrapped up because you're too compelling of a guest.
Save it for the next time.
Save it for the next time.
If you want me back, maybe you don't.
I absolutely want you back. This was better than the first. This was better than the first one.
You think?
Yes, I do. I think it was fantastic. But let's get out of here on one final question. And I think that you're the one to answer this. Why didn't Jesus get married?
He didn't need to.
No?
No. I don't know what to say, honey.
Well, no. The correct answer is because he was smart.
That's very funny.
That's very good.
You're very good, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mom. Could you tell the fans that I'm very good? One last time.
They know.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for joining me. This is an epic episode, one of my favorites, I have to say. And I appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to us. The fans have been really asking for a second after the first one. They're asking for a second one. They really love you. So, and I love you, and Sean loves you too. And thank you for coming on again and taking the time to spend with us. I appreciate it.
Oh, I love being here, and thank you. Thank you, everybody you are encouraging my son to have me on again. And thank you very much for that.